Hi guys, today I'm gonna talk about truly shocking story from United States. The murder of unarmed black jogger Ahmaud Arbery by two white guys. Initially I followed the mass media narrative and it looks like another hate crime to me. But then I found a couple of strange things which don't align that well. And I decided to make a much deeper investigation, and what I found shocked me even more. First, let's have a quick recap of our story. On May 5th, someone released a video of the last moment of Ahmaud's life. Some of you guys might have seen this video, but I will show this again without the last part when Ahmaud falling dead for obvious reasons. When I first seen this, I was like, what the heck? It looks like a clear case for the cold-blooded murder. And it's hardly believed that something like this can happen in 21st century. So what is the media narrative here? Two white guys from the richer white neighborhood have seen the black guy running on the street. And he looked like a guy who was involved, according to them, to some kind of burglary happened into this neighborhood some times ago. And then they decided to have a civil arrest of this guy. They took their guns, blocked the roads, and basically hunt him down. Sounds like a legit story, especially if you watch the video. But the murder happened on February 23rd, and these guys were arrested only on May 7th, which is like over 2 months. How the heck this is possible? I understand if something like this happened in Russia, because in Russia, police is extremely corrupt. But this is United States of America. We know that Georgian police may be a little bit racist, but there is no way you can hide the murder of that scale. How the media explains this fact? First, the guy who was involved in murder was a former officer of the same Brunswick police officer, which was investigating this case, and that's where the whole accident happened. Second thing, murderers reported a fake story to the police, and then on May 5th, they released this additional video, which contradicts to their report, and finally they got arrested within 48 hours. Looks like a legit explanation, right? The problem here is that police had this video within a couple of days after the murder, and it doesn't contradict the original report according to them. So how did they interpret this video so they don't have to arrest these guys? To get the truth here, we need to look to the original documents. I used two of them. One is the original police report, which happened right after the murder. The second one is the police memo from an investigation department, which was written around the beginning of April, explaining why these two guys should not be arrested. Let's look at the memo first. It appears Travis McMichael, Greg McMichael, and Brian William were following in a hot pursuit a burglary suspect with a solid first-hand probable case in their neighborhood and telling him to stop. It appears their intent was to hold and stop this criminal suspect until the law enforcement arrived. Under Georgia law, it's completely legal. Okay, you might think there is a black jogger and two white racist rednecks who thought that, okay, this guy is a criminal because he's black. And again, if you look at the media narrative, you will see lots of confirmation that this guy was actually a keen jogger. The problem here is that they just released another video on May 9th. And here you can clearly see that man decided for some reason to stop his jogging, come inside the house, do something maybe there, and then just walk out of it. Entering into someone's property in the United States is a felony. Obviously, trespassing cannot be justified for the murder, but it can be justified for civil arrest. Next thing's burglaries. Media tells us it's all fake. There were no recent burglaries in that neighborhood. According to this article, some of the police officer confirmed that the last burglaries happened in that district was on January 1st, which is like 7 weeks from the accident. And this is a classical example of fake news. If you look at the original police report, McMichael stated there have been several break-ins in the neighborhoods, and further the suspect was caught on the surveillance video. There is no word recent in any of their claims. And in fact, you can see that this original police report is linked to 4 other different cases. And this one is the burglary. We don't have an access to this document, but if you look at their number, G20 means that it was made in 2020. And then you have the case number, which obviously starts from 1 at the beginning of the year. And you can see that the number here is pretty low, especially compared to the number of that report. Using the simple math, we can see that there were like 220 police reports per day. So this burglary report is dated by January 1. So it doesn't contradict what they said at all. And then there was a claim about security cameras. And here you can see this trespassing case. If you use the simple math again, you can see this happened on February 12th. which is pretty close to the accident date. I guess for now it's pretty clear that the civil arrest was perfectly justified by Georgian law. Let's return to the police memo. It clearly appears Travis McMichael and Greg McMichael had firearms being carried in an open fashion. The investigation shows neither of them to be convicted felons or under felony supervision. They were in a motor vehicle owned by Travis McMichael. Under Georgian law, it's legal open carry. According to Georgian law, it's completely legal to carry around the gun. I know if you're from Europe or from some more civilized states in US, it's not legal. But here, it is legal. The fair question here, why would anyone use firearms against an unarmed jogger? And the answer is easy, because in Georgia, everyone can potentially have a gun and you don't know whether this guy is armed or not. It is extremely easy to get a gun even without a license. Plus, this guy was not only a jogger, because he went into someone's house just a moment ago. And to be fair, Arbery was convicted for bringing a gun into high school long time ago. Now the most important part of the memo, video analysis. From say the video, it appears Ahmaud Arbery was running along the right side of the McMichael truck, then abruptly turns 90 degrees to the left and attacks Travis McMichael, who was standing at the front left corner of the truck. A brief skirmish ensues in which it appears Arbery strikes McMichael and appears to grab the shotgun and pull it from McMichael. The first shot is thought Arbery's right hand palm, which is consistent with him grabbing and pulling the shotgun at the barrel tip. Given the fact Arbery initiated the fight, at the point Arbery grabbed the shotgun, under Georgia law, McMichael was allowed to deadly force to protect himself. We don't have the moment of the first shot recorded in the video, but we know that as the result of this first shot, the hand's palm of Arbery was injured. Two things can happen here. First thing, McMichael decided to violently kill the guy and shoot him from a very close distance, like 3 feet, and somehow he missed and shoot into his hand. And if this was the case, he would probably shoot again to kill him, right? Another version is that Arbery grabbed and pulled the shotgun and McMichael had to shoot. And again, imagine if you're just a peaceful jogger and then you see like two redneck men on their tracks with their gun asking you to stop. Like usually if you see the gun, whether it's police or some gangs or some like civil people, you just stop and don't move and try to negotiate, because this is not a joke. It's pretty serious. You don't run anymore and you don't touch any shotguns. For some reason, Arbery decided to grab and pull the shotgun. Maybe the reason is that he wasn't that innocent? Was it a self-defense? Everything shows that it was. Okay, am I saying it's okay to kill someone who is a suspect for burglary? Absolutely not. But it's totally fine to initiate a civil arrest and call to 911. Which they actually did. Is it okay to kill a person who refused civil arrest? Absolutely not. But if the guy touches your gun and initiate the fight, unfortunately, yes. My bet is that these guys won't go to the prison. And again, it's a totally shocking story for me, and I don't want something like this to be happen again. But the reason of the murder is neither racism nor corrupted police, but the open weapon policy of the Georgia state. If you want to prevent similar accident in the future, you should cancel the Second Amendment. There is no other options. All civilized world don't have any access to the guns and they still live a pretty happy life. Couple of words to mass media. I don't think it's really fair when you always try to find some racism and divide the society by race. And most of the times you're pushing one narrative and you don't even try to look what could be the alternatives. And it's pretty easy that the story is not about racism at all. Same kind of thing applied to Bernie Sanders, who tweeted this kind of thing. Instead of racially divided society, I think it would be much better if you could just do something to prevent that open access to the weaponry in the United States. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. Bye.